So a very different start to the video. In actual fact, I don't normally talk in this room because I've been in here alone. I'm still alone. What am I talking about? But it's very echoey. You can hear it. So I've got to do a lot of work in here. This is my new workspace. It's my new space. And that's why it's a bit of a different video, because this week I've had no time to make a real big kind of long video. So I will run into something that runs onto the outside for a bit of a shoot in a moment. But I just wanted to kind of give you a reason for why this week's video is very different. Because when I got the keys back for this this flat last Saturday, it had been tenanted for the last kind of 12 years or so, maybe longer, I'm not sure. And yeah, it was a mess. I'll show you a couple of images of how much of a mess this was. And I've spent, since last Saturday, completely cleaning it as best I can. I haven't decorated yet. I'm going to have to decorate shortly whilst I'm in here. But the reason I'm moving in here, because my other flat is next door. But the reason I'm moving in here is because this room alone represents pretty much the whole flat next door. I mean, perhaps a little more than that. Perhaps this room over to that far white wall there. But yeah, there's quite a big difference. And I've kind of been working out what I'm going to do in this room. So this is obviously the living room, and that area, that corner there, is going to be my my workspace. At the minute, there's just a gate leg table there. I'm hoping to get a nice new desk there, and I'm toying with various ideas in here. I'm toying with the idea of turning this unit around and using it as a kind of room divider, kind of coming out that way to kind of work that space, and then I'll be able to do a bit of soundproofing on the back of that as well to cut down echo, because echo is pretty bad, as I'm sure you're noticing. Wonderful space, and there's a sea view there. Now, part of what I'm saying this all for is the fact that I'm vacating the flat next door, and whilst I'm kind of doing it down in size, I've been living in there for 3 or 4 years. And tending to spend winter in one of our other holiday cottages. But that flat next door will be offered again as a holiday cottage. And with sea views, I mean, literally, I'm looking at the sea now. I can't adjust the exposure for that. But let's quickly, it's through that window. And being right next door, yeah, if you would like to come and stay by the sea, and say by the sea, there's also cliff access down there as well. So yeah, kind of in-house training, if you like. Well, not in-house, well, in flat training. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. I'll show you the video that I recorded. It's only relatively short, and thanks for your support, and I'm hoping that normal service may be resumed next week, although I can't guarantee it, because this is the tidiest room so far, and I've barely moved anything in yet, and obviously I need to do a lot of decorating and such like that. I've got to deal with that crack and various other problems. So I'll explain a little bit more about this this situation in a coming video. Thanks for watching, and here's the part you probably really tuned in for. I've just had a woman walking her dog saying, "I'm rather hoping I don't get wet." And I said, "I'm rather hoping the heaven's open." I'll show you why. Look. Oh, right. Very quickly, I've taken shots from this particular place before, many in fact, but yeah, down here, really low, I have a couple of ND filters on, and the only reason I'm doing that is so I try to get a little bit of movement because there's a breeze in the crop here, and I've got to say it's looking bloody nice. I'm just taking a shot after shot here, one way or another, because all the while this cloud base is moving around. So there may be something to be had, but sun is kind of up here somewhere. Can't see my hand. It's up there somewhere. So when it does break through the cloud, the light that hits the lighthouse is pretty amazing, and yeah, it's great. I mean, even just the contrast against the dark skies are wonderful. But I came here knowing that this cloud base was kind of there, and I wasn't anticipating it having got here to this point. I was going to walk further up the hill and try to get a shot going that way, but it's really kind of coming at me. So watch this space. The clouds have moved away a lot now, but I've found another angle here that creates quite a nice image. This is a trick, if you like, that I use every now and again. As you see, I'm incredibly low on my knees, and I've got these beautiful oxeye daisies here, and they're right in front. I'm really deep with my f-stop, what's the word, aperture, f20, because I want this and the lighthouse. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing these and just kind of putting them in the right place if I can here. Got a cable release on so I can kind of just look at the screen, tilt everything. Hopefully I'll get things in the right kind of place. Hands just out of shot. He said moving it just out of shot. I've got some straggly ones over the back here that I'd like to kind of just pat down a little. Which one's that? That one's kind of in the way slightly. Move that. And just gently kind of bunch these together, and there's something in there that's going to work, I hope. If not, I'll just end up focus stacking this. In actual fact, I will just go and get a shot of the lighthouse in the background so I can composite it in if I need to. Nice little trick, really low, and what that's doing is that's compressing the image, so I haven't got a massive field in front of me. I've got just the top of the crop and then the lighthouse. There's every chance you might call me a bit of a hypocrite after a recent video saying, yeah, be different at honeypots. Yeah, that first shot was hardly different, was it? I'm not sure how to defend it, in honesty. I think the difference is, from my point of view, is that I've deliberately come here. It's an intentional image that I've come to get that... Sorry, I was just seeing something out in the sea over there. I think it's an old thing. Anyway, yeah, I've come intentionally because of the weather, because there was that cloud base. There's a very I'm going to use the word again, intentional image to get, and the difference is that, certainly for me in this instance, is I live just 10 minutes or so drive from here, so it's a honeypot location, but I choose my moments when I get here and I do something different to get an image of that, because I'm as sick of seeing standard images as the next person. If I get a shot, I want one that says, yeah, this is different. Is that defense enough? Well, another intentional hypocritical shot. Again, lighthouse, honeypot. Oh, again, lighthouse, honey. I don't need to say it, you can see it in the shot. But again, very intentional. I'm quite high up, If you just see the camera angle there, it's pointing down slightly. That's because we've got a number of lines running through the geography here. We've got this path, we've got the line of the field, and that's kind of also highlighted by the two different colours of green, two different shades of green there. We've also got the edge of the cliff there. I'm not sure if that's actually in shot. Hold on. Yeah, just kind of creeping in. Arguably, actually, I should include more of that, shouldn't I? Bloody full. There we go. That's probably better. There's a bit of rain in the air, so I'm having to wipe the lens. Sun's beginning to break through the cloud a little bit up there as well, so we might get a more difficult exposure in a minute. I don't know. We'll have to see. And all around me, maybe just see the sand martins just in and out of their nests in the cliff face here. I mean, kind of surrounded by them, buzzed by them all the time. Beautiful, beautiful little things. Lovely to see them. If I had my teleconverter with me, I might be tempted to try and zoom in on them with the long lens, but I don't. I might give it a go anyway, but it's probably not worth it. One of the things you've got to keep in mind all of the time is that even if it is a honeypot location, the conditions that you take a photograph in are probably different from the conditions of most other photographs. Yeah, I mean, the clouds move, you know, in a situation like this, and this is a really important point as well. A situation like this, field here, crop rotation means that next year that field will look different. Last year there was sugar beet in part of it. I'm not sure, can't remember what was in this particular part, but on the other side of the lighthouse last year there was sugar beet, so I imagine it was the same here, because the field kind of extends all the way through, and that's a very different type of crop. It's very dark and such, and there's some I've got some images of that. I'll try and dig one out and put it up on screen. So again, the point is that it is going to look different, and I'm kind of undoing what I was saying in the previous video, to the point of saying, well, yeah, honeypots are fine, particularly if you're trying to sell an image. I've got to say, if someone comes to this area and comes to Haysborough Lighthouse, there's every chance that they might want to take a photograph home of that. And I'm making excuses, but you kind of get my point. We come to these places, if they're local, because we know them, and I think this is probably the point that I really need to make more, because I tied myself in knots a bit there. I'm local, I can come here a lot, and I can choose my time, and I know where the angles are, I know where the images likely are, and I can walk pretty much all the way around this. I mean, getting from here back to the car, which is over there, is actually a long walk in that direction, so I might just go back the way I've come, but the worst threat of the rain is now past, so I might just walk. I don't know. I've got things to do tomorrow, and now I'm beginning to waffle. But my point is that I can come back here, I can look at the weather forecast, I can look out the window, and I can say, right, that might work. I can track lightning storms. There was one yesterday, but I kind of missed it. I wasn't quite ready for it. But I don't think it really happened much anyway. It was out to sea before it kind of got over here. But all of these things I can do because I'm local. And this really tracks back to everything I generally say is do work with your local area, because sure, coming to places like this, being here for an hour or so, you just might not get that image. You might have to go for the standard kind of honeypot shot with the camera, the phone camera, and say, oh look, that's it. It's possible you'll have to do that, but once, And again, I'd make this point an awful lot, and I can't emphasize it enough. Once you know how to compose an image, rather than just standing there as I just did with the phone up, in actual fact the phone's still on. There we go, let's do it again. It's not a bad shot, probably. Once you know how to do it, you can get a good image at a honeypot, and it's going to look a lot the same like somebody else's, and if that pleases you, fine. I think the point we've all got to understand throughout is, unless this is our livelihood, and I doubt that it is for any of you out there. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But unless it's your livelihood, then do it for self-gratification, do it for your own well-being, do it because it gets you out of the house, do it for whatever reason works for you. And with that, I'll show you some other images that I've gotten here at other times. You may have seen them before. One of which is in the window of a local gallery, still unsold. Could you believe it?
Sunshine creeping through my window as I close my eyes. Fall back into bed, it was a long night, and I can't find a word to say. Emotion running from my tongue like a bird is running from a gun. It was a long